When I was first learning to plaster, when I first sort of got started, this is all my dad used to give me all the time. It's just literally every single one of these with a curve I had to do. That was the rules, and I used to struggle like mad. What tends to happen is when you're coming out that curve, you just go like that. That's usually what happens. But once you've done about 500 of them, you know, once you've done 500 of them when you're 15 years old, you get quite good at doing it without digging in. Listen, listen. Can you hear that? Like snap, crackle and pop. Show me, look, the bubbling. Don't worry about that, okay? You get a bit of bubbling coming through. It doesn't matter, it's just the plaster reacting. Now what can happen is, look, it's all here. Okay, this will end up coming through the second coat, and you might even still see it when you trowel up. But towards the end of the mix, don't treat it any different. Towards the end of the mix, when you're polishing, they'll definitely be gone by then. So don't panic about them, thinking you've got to go round getting rid of all the bubbles. Just carry on as if they're not there.
These corners, these are the hardest part of these type of ceilings. Trying to get the trowel to go into that corner. It's not a natural shape because it goes from a corner curved and then opens out flat. And obviously that's round and your trowel's square, so it's not the easiest thing to do. But with a little bit of time and perseverance, don't rush it and keep building it up, you'll be able to get it fairly neat. The idea now is to get it completely covered and on fairly thick just for the first coat.
There's a few different ways of doing this, of getting over an Artex pattern. Some fellas like to float it out first with a coat of bonding, and some guys like to do what we call a magic mix, where they mix bonding coat, which is a lightweight back coat plaster, with the first coat of finish, so it thickens it up quite a bit. The thing with plastering is, there's loads of ways of doing everything, and it doesn't mean that anyone's wrong, it's just that there's different ways of doing it. I've tried them all. This is just the way I prefer because it's less materials and less messing around, and I think it's a little bit faster. But if you're not bothered about an extra, you know, half an hour or an hour on the mix, then you could mix bonding in, and you might find it covers the pattern slightly easier. Whereas for me, it doesn't really. I'm not bothered. Just sneak a little quick drink in there. Would have been better with vodka in it, I think.
Mum, if you're watching, I was only joking. I'm just showing off. I don't even like vodka. And obviously I wouldn't drink in work, would I? Flip back.
Second coat likes to go on a lot nicer, you know. It feels a lot smoother putting it on. You're not trying to get over the Artex now. Right, so I've got a few mates down south that are plasterers, and they've all told me they've never seen this type of ceiling with the curve into the wall. So I want to know, how true is that? If you're a southern plasterer, or if you just live in the south, is it true? Do they not have these types of ceilings down there? I'll tell you something else that's quite funny. I always find quite amusing, and it seems to get a load of fellas' backs up. They're really passionate about it. As far as I'm concerned, this is a board that you put plaster on, and it sits on your hand. So up north we just call this a hand board because it's a board that sits on your hand. But the Cockneys, with their rhyming slang, call this a hawk. Now I don't know how they get hawk for that. As far as I'm concerned, a hawk is a bird that flies around outside and eats little mice. So I don't know if it's like they try and really push it. It's called a hawk, it's called a hawk. I mean, are they the same when you say you come up the stairs and it's the apples and pears? It's not the stairs, no such thing as stairs, it's apples and pears. I don't know. I do know that they're very passionate about it though.
It's important that you get these angles the right shape whilst the plaster's wet.
This is the first flattening look. A plaster in the beard. I'm sure that this beauty from the 80s is going to be replaced. But for the meantime, they still use the light. Try not to plaster in the bracket. Just plaster around it, but try not to cover over it, because at some point, when they want to remove that, the last thing they want to have to do is dig it out. So I've just kept the plaster back enough that it'll just pick out. Right, can you see these bubbles here? I've just given it a flatten in. We're about to start giving it the first trowel, and these bubbles are still present. Don't worry about them. Just carry on. Don't pay any attention. Most of them have gone. There's some still there, and they can stay there all the way until the third trowel, just before the polish even. Don't worry, just leave them.
Notice that as I'm going, I'm cross-troweling. So what that means is you don't always want to be going the same direction with the trowel. To eliminate any bumps, you need to go 2 directions over all the surface. That said, obviously you can't go 2 directions in the cove, you can only go one way.
I'm Kurt Johnstone. You've been watching On The Trowel. If you enjoyed that video, I highly recommend that you watch the next video on the screen now. You'll love it.